I watched hundreds of hours of college basketball this season, so you didn't have to. I get it, you need some upsets in your bracket, and I'll get to some of those, but I want to caution you against this one in particular, and I'm going to tell you why. If you could hear the audio of the ESPN and CBS analysts behind me, you'd hear them encouraging you to pick UC San Diego over Michigan, and I think that's a bad call. First things first, can we put a little bit of respect on this man's name? I mean, he made it to a Final Four with FAU. He has a lot more talent and resources at his disposal this year, and I don't think he's going to bow out in the first round. Dusty literally just proved to us last weekend that he's a good tournament coach. But I know you guys are here for a little deeper analysis, so let's jump into it. UC San Diego's success this year has been predicated on the fact that they turn the other team over well, and then they don't turn the ball over a lot themselves. And they do this with a really help side heavy defense that switches everything. And I think that's a terrible thing to do against a team like Michigan. You can see K-Pitch comes all the way over here to double from the baseline against UC Santa Barbara, and it causes some confusion and leads to a turnover. The only problem with this is that when you're dealing with a guy like Danny Wolf that likes to keep his head on a swivel and find the open guy, it doesn't quite go as well as it did in the Big West. Here's another example of the Tritons bringing that baseline help on two separate occasions. That's not going to be very effective against Michigan for the reason I just showed you with Danny, but also it's not going to be effective against Vlad because look where he likes to post up against Michigan State, and Dusty's already mentioned in multiple interviews that they're trying to post him up more towards the center of the floor because teams in the Big Ten were bringing that baseline double to try to throw Vlad off since he's so difficult to stop once he catches the ball. One of the big arguments for an upset is the fact that Michigan turns the ball over a lot and the Tritons force a lot of turnovers, but if you've watched Michigan this year, you know it's not forced turnovers that have been their issue. The other staple of UC San Diego's defense is switching everything because they're all roughly between 6'4 and 6'9, 6'10, but one of the best counters to the opposing team switching screens is just slipping them, and I'm pretty sure that Danny would rather slip a screen than set one from what I've seen so far this year. And switching everything in something like a horns action that Michigan runs, and then Danny popping out and then creating offense with Vlad going downhill just seems like something that UC San Diego is going to have a lot of trouble dealing with. And you can see UC Santa Barbara slips the screen on this inbound and it leads to a dunk. Hayden Gray anchors this defense like a free safety, and you can see in this situation, yes, he is guarding that guy in the corner, and I just don't think that's going to be a good idea when that guy in the corner is Namari Burnett. I wanted to be more insightful, so I actually didn't bring up the most glaring advantage that Michigan has quite yet, and that's the fact that they're going to dominate this game in the paint. UC San Diego doesn't have an answer for a guy like Vlad Golden, and I know for a fact in the Big West they haven't seen a guy like Danny Wolf that can grab a board and go coast to coast with a finish at 7 foot. I know this is a trendy pick, and this is a crafty, skilled UC San Diego team, and the metrics even line up that makes sense for an upset, but stylistically, UC San Diego's defense kind of plays right into Michigan's hands, and I don't think they're going to have an answer for Vlad Golden or Danny Wolf, not to mention Trey Donaldson's playing the best basketball that he's played all year.